Hello, Tarot friends. This is Ultraviolet Morgan with another pick card reading. This topic is going to be opening your connection with self. Okay. See about turning these around. As best that I can for the moment. Right. Opening your connection with self. And I just have these background. Okay, I don't want to use those just yet. First of all, if you enjoy tarot readings, tarot topics, please hit the subscribe and the bell to join the community and become one of my tarot friends. If you've already done so, welcome back. If you find yourself enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up and show support. If you know someone who would like it, feel free to share. And of course, I always look forward to the comments down below or in live chat. You can comment, although I will not be checking them right now as I do the reads. Okay, for those who are interested in knowing the decks, I'm going to go through and just talk about which decks I'm using. Do have a few decks that I'm using for this reading. So firstly, we have Colette Baron Reed, Wisdom of the Oracle cards. And we also have the Work Your Light Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell and artwork by Danielle Noel. I believe it is the same. We also have Rebecca Campbell and Danielle Noel's Starseed Oracle. And those are the Oracle. Earth Magic Oracle cards by Stephen D. Farmer. So those are the oracles that we're using. As for the tarot, we have the Hidden Realms Tarot, which the backs look like this. We also have the True, Rachel True's deck. I believe it's True Heart Intuitive. Ooh, oopsie. True Heart Intuitive Tarot. Just a couple of those. We've got the Muse Tarot, which is by Chris Ann. And finally, we've got the Wild Unknown Tarot, Kim Kranz. It may seem a little overwhelming, but I promise you it will not be as overwhelming as it may possibly appear. So, first, the overall message for everyone. And these were a couple of bottom of the deck cards that sort of stood out for me. The Four of Pentacles and the World Cosmos. So with the Four of Pentacles, we're really talking about finding your the word that I want. Finding that foundation. So we're connecting with ourselves, our inner self, our higher self, our true self, our multiple selves. So this connection is going to bring us to, a sense of foundation and structure and wholeness and completeness. That's the overall, hope for this reading and the overall theme of this reading. And then just because I really wanted to decorate with some lovely angels today. I'm going to bring my angels in. I'll try to have a lovely background. Normally my backgrounds are not a whole lot going on. But there we go. All right, so now we're going to get into this. I don't know if this music is loud and distracting for you guys. I do actually plan on, it's going to cut out in a little bit. But there's going to be a moment where I take a few breaths and center myself and ask you to do the same. And so I do plan to still have the music on for that. Okay. So pile 1, we have an amethyst. And I suppose if you wanted to line these up, we have the gold angel and the little clear diamond ball. Pile 2, I looked up what this was and then I forgot. Black tourmaline. Okay, so pile 2 is tourmaline, and if you wanted to match it up, it would be the white angel with the blue ball and the green stone. This is above everything. And pile 3 is the rose quartz, and we have the clear angel and the clear stone. Now that's a lot of things to really choose from. You can really choose to just eliminate this whole section here, or just not think about these, or I'll line them up in case you do want to use them. You can simply ignore these. You can simply go with the number, or you can go with the main stone, okay? Or whatever makes you feel drawn to a pile. Anybody that's on, I just want to say hi. Thank you for joining. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple of deep breaths, and I want you to think about which pile you feel drawn to. And then after I give you a few moments to do that, I'm going to turn over the top card. So you can also choose based on the top card. Now, let me know in the comments down below if you like all of these options for selecting, or if you prefer to keep it limited to something like one item, such as a crystal or card. Let me know if you feel like this is overwhelming, or if you like having the many options and the many things to help you to select. So in case you don't want to be able to see a card at all, I'm going to let some people have a few moments to think about which one they want. Then I'm going to flip over the cards. So let's take a couple of deep breaths. I welcome my guides. Welcome my goddesses. I welcome all friendly, helpful spirits. I invite my third eye to open. I invite my crown chakra to open. I present myself as an open and clear channel to receive messages from the cards, from the spirits, to pass them on. All right. Apologize if that felt like a long time. When I do lives, I feel like I can take my time. That's why I like to do the lives. So I can just take the time that I need and not worry about running out of space on the camera. Now I'm going to flip over the cards. And these are going to be upright regardless. So pile 1 is unbound. Pile 2 is trust your path. And pile 3 is get grounded. So I'm going to give a few more moments now for you to consider these cards and see if there's one that you feel, if you still feel drawn to the same one, if you feel drawn to a different one, if you feel drawn to multiples. Obviously you're free to watch as many of them as you feel drawn to or as you want to. Sometimes I just watch them all just to look at the cards, beyond the ones I've chosen, if I have the attention span for it. But I'm just going to take a couple of breaths again and let you think over your decision and your choice. I'm inviting my crown chakra to open and blossom, as well as your own. I'm inviting my third eye to open. I'm inviting my heart chakra to open, as well as your own. I'm inviting my throat chakra to open. I'm inviting my solar plexus chakra to open and blossom, as well as your own. I'm inviting my root chakra to open and ground me. And I'm inviting the energy of the chakra system to flow freely through me. Okay. Ooh. I'm getting a little tingly today. Hopefully, anyone who's on right now can hear me. So I'm going to be going on my phone to the channel, so the music will go out. I have to turn that down all the way. Hearts Love Joe. Hi, Hearts Love. Thank you for your like and subscribe. Hopefully you're still hanging out. I am going to put that down, but I just wanted to make sure that everything was in frame and whatnot. Okay, so I'm sorry. Yes, it is a long, like I said, I took my sweet time. So I'm going to get into this now with pile 1. Okay. Pile 1, Unbound. So for those of you who chose pile 1 and the Unbound card, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives could be a really important theme right now. In terms of connecting with yourself, perhaps realizing what some of the patterns and contracts may be, in order to be able to release them. All right. So the way that we're going to do this is using the tarot spread, opening your connection with self. Okay. The Father of Pentacles, Two of Swords reversed, and Judgment reversed. Whoa. So here we're talking about current influences that you're unaware of in terms of soul contracts. We have the Father of Pentacles, which makes me feel like you could have a soul contract with an ancestor. It could have been a father in a past life or parent, but I feel like it's a masculine energy, a paternal energy. You also might want to look at the patterns in your current family through the father's line. And this is the Father of Pentacles. So it could very much have to do with issues of security, financial issues, health issues, issues dealing with the body, dealing with resources, dealing with land ownership or lands where you've lived. Okay. And these are influences that you're unaware of. So this is something that you may know a little bit. Something may trigger something that you need to look into a little further. If there's anything that gave like a sort of tingle of awareness, that's probably the thing that you want to look into. How can I improve allowing my intuition to guide me? Okay, so this card is perfect for that question. And with it being reversed, it really tells me that it is something that you need to work on. The Two of Swords in reverse. So the Two of Swords to me is often a card that talks about using your intuition and releasing what you can see with your eyes and moving beyond that. Okay. And this is something that is holding you back from your growth. With the Judgment card in reverse. So I feel like that's probably a lot of self-judgment that is really keeping you from growing. My sense would be that you are very hard on yourself, and perhaps it's because subconsciously you're holding yourself to these soul contracts. You're feeling a lot of obligation and judgment. But it's your own judgment. You might externalize it. You may feel like other people are judging you, but it's actually yourself. And so realizing that can really help you to come to terms with that as well. So now we're going to look for the next important lesson to learn. Okay, this is a card, the Nine of Swords. This card has to do with self-defeating behaviors and self-sabotage, I believe. And I am going to really quickly double check on that because there are two cards in this deck that I mix up a lot. Oops. Okay, Swords. Okay, no, I did mix it up. It's another, I think it's the the Five of Swords that I was thinking of. So this is the Nine of Swords. Dark visions and anguish. Correct. Okay. So again, this kind of goes back to this factor that you're judging yourself very harshly, and you're holding yourself to a standard. It's really giving you a lot of anxiety and anguish and visions and feelings like, I'm sensing that you have serious feelings of dread, or feelings like, the really terrible things are going to happen if you're not perfect, or if you don't do things a certain way. I'm really feeling like that is the sense that you, or some of the things that you're telling yourself, some of your scripts, your internal scripts. You're being very harsh and hard on yourself, and catastrophizing, and sort of putting a lot of weight on yourself, to where your expectations are extremely high, and you really can't, they're impossible to meet, so you're always beating up on yourself. How does this lesson contribute to my life purpose? So this lesson here is really surrounding this perfectionism and this self-hatred and self-attack. So how does this lesson contribute to my life purpose? And we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So look at, just visually, we have this spider and this great big web. And clearly, you're building this web around yourself that you can't get out of. You cannot ever be perfect enough to meet your own expectations. And this is a really big problem for you. The message from your guides and angels. Oh, this is a beautiful card. Beautiful. I do love this. The Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords, we have this beautiful butterfly ready to open, but it's surrounded by this sort of dangerous world. So there's fear and opening. There's fear. And so, what I'm sensing for you is that there's fear for you of really trying your best, because you might fail. You're so hard on yourself that you're afraid to really give it your all, because you're holding back in order to protect yourself. You're holding back in order to prevent yourself from the full wrath of really failing at something that you care about, or that you really tried. There's a fear that you're not good enough, or that you're bad, or a failure, or not safe, that you are not able to succeed in this way. So these fears and judgments that you're heaping on yourself are really holding you back. And your guides and angels, or source energy, they want you to know that you can open your wings. You can escape from this web and this sort of prison that you've built around yourself. One thing that I just read a conversation on YouTube where the question was, what's something that you learned in therapy that was very helpful? And somebody said, facts are not feelings. So when you have thoughts, that really harsh thoughts against yourself, remind yourself, just because you thought it doesn't make it true. Facts are not feelings, feelings are not facts, something like that. So just because you thought these negative thoughts, so you have to start to separate from your thoughts about yourself and question them. You don't have to. If you think you're a terrible person, you do not have to say, I'm a wonderful person, I'm a wonderful person, I'm a wonderful person. Because you're not going to believe it, okay? You think you're a terrible person, it's okay. Notice you're having the thought, I'm a terrible person. And then say to yourself, I noticed that I'm having the thought that I'm a terrible person. And then now you are observing the thought. Try to observe it neutrally. Don't necessarily even judge it. Don't try to prove it right or wrong. Just say it's just a thought. Try to make it try to make it not as important. Not all consuming. It's just a thought. It's not capital T truth. It's just a thought in my head. It could be right, it could be wrong. I'm not invested in it either way. That kind of thing. So I feel like I maybe went on a long ramble there. So the other tarot decks I have set up to clarify. So we're going to clarify the Father of Pentacles, which was the current influence that you're not aware of. We have the Two of Swords, which in this card, it really gives me something of a lover's energy, but also an imbalance of power and an issue of trust. So I'm definitely feeling like what we've got is some type of paternal, and in many past lives, or in many times throughout history, even a husband and wife relationship was paternal in many ways. So we have a unequal relationship of someone has power over another, and there's a question of trust and this power balance. And this seems to it's you could have been the man. We're going to go with that because historically the man, you could have been the dominant partner, or the submissive partner, but in some way that you have clung to that soul contract, and you still feel like you have to be dominant or submissive, or that you have to be the protector, or that you have to give up your power, or some kind of an issue with trust, especially with, I would say, male figures in your life, whether you're male or female yourself. The past contract, I do believe that it would involve, in current times, a male figure. So it could be your father, it could be your lover, it could be a close friend. But there's an issue of unequal power and dominance, submission, that I don't think that you feel like that fits anymore with what you want. You struggle with it. You don't want to be, I feel like probably you want more of an equal partnership. But it's possible you want to switch it. But you're tired of that role. You're tired of that role that you have entered into this contract with, and it's time to become unbound from that. So how to improve allowing my intuition to guide me. So we have basically the intuition. Then we have the King of Wands. King of Wands? Okay. King of Wands. Wow. The Wands also is a very good card to represent intuition. And the King talks about power and authority. So this is interesting to me, as we have this sort of power and authority thing going on here. We have power and authority continued into the second card. So definitely it's time to look at how you express power and authority in your relationships now. Do you own your authority? Do you submit automatically, or do you take over automatically and, begin to be overbearing towards others? What's your relationship now with power and authority, and what are your feelings towards that relationship with power, as far as, what's the contract that you want to unbind yourself from? So we're going to move on to something that's holding you back from optimal growth. So we have this judgment of yourself, and then the Lover's card in reverse. So I feel like because you're judging yourself, you're not allowing yourself to love yourself. You're not allowing yourself to see yourself as you truly are. You're only seeing the negative aspect of yourself, and you're cutting yourself off from that connection to yourself. That really vital connection, because of the harsh judgments that you are holding against yourself. Hi, James. I'm doing, if you're still hanging out, looks like maybe not. I don't know what Doll Angel had to say, but he took back his messages. So I'm doing the pick a card reading. So if you pick, you can always rewind back to the beginning and choose pile 1, 2, or 3. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm not regularly checking the comment section, so I apologize. I did not see those. All right, so yeah, this connection with yourself is really suffering because of the way that you're judging yourself so harshly. So the next important lesson, we have the Knight of Voices, clarifying the 9 of Swords. So your lesson has to do with changing the way that you talk to yourself is going to be very important. Changing those tapes in your head. And as I said earlier, sometimes just saying the opposite of, what you believe is not enough. What you need to observe and question, and you need to distance yourself from those thoughts. But you do have to look for some positive thoughts that you can believe about yourself. I want you to think about things that you can objectively tell yourself are positive about yourself, things that you may have done, accomplished in the past. And think about things that you probably, if you think of something that you've accomplished, you've probably got a reason why it doesn't count. Why it isn't valid. So you need to question those statements and put them aside and I want you to start writing these down. Your accomplishments, your positive thoughts about yourself, things other people say about you that's positive. Just start to pay attention to them. You don't have to believe them. You don't have to force yourself to believe them. Just start paying attention to them. And set aside the negative talk about it, and the dismissing kind of thoughts. Set those aside. And just start recording and noticing and look over them and excuse me, read them out loud to yourself and spend a little time with them. Again, don't give them a huge amount of weight, and don't give your negative thoughts a huge amount of weight. Just observe them. Just think about them. Think about the difference. Ask yourself things like, how would I feel if I believed this about myself? Okay? That will help you to accept those messages a little better. When you don't demand that you accept them, but you just open the door like that. Wow, this is going crazy, this message. It's probably super long at this point. So how this message contributes to your life purpose. Got the 9 of Wands. That's a really heavy energy. Look at this. This person is entangled. This person is sunk down. This person is really discouraged is what I'm saying. Okay? This is a person who's very weighted down and discouraged mainly through their own negative self-talk and harsh judgments of themselves. How does this lesson of changing the way that you talk and think about yourself contribute to your life's purpose? It's really important that you recognize the effects of this judgment and see that it is not helpful to you, and see that it is not, because there's a very high likelihood that you've always been taught and that you believe that you need to kick yourself in the butt, you need to kick yourself in the pants in order to get anywhere, that you need to bark at yourself and be harsh with yourself in order to succeed or amount to anything. But this is not true. Okay. You do not need to. Does not help you. It sets you back. Okay. So you need to realize that and forgive yourself for having done so in the past and for believing that it would be a benefit to you. You did the best that you could at the time. When you know better, you do better. So you need to realize that these harsh judgments of yourself are not helping you to become a better person. They're not helping you to live a happier life. They're not helping you to be in touch with your authentic self. And they're keeping you bound to past contracts and patterns that you just don't want to repeat. So the message from your guides, angels, and source energy. We have the Star in reverse. So here we had said that the message was that it's safe to open up, even though it doesn't feel like it. Now you have to remember, all these swords are surrounding this butterfly. Yet when the butterfly's wings open, the butterfly doesn't have to go down to the swords. The butterfly can fly up. And with a star in reverse, your guides also want you to know that it is safe to wish for things. It's safe to desire things and want things. The star comes out in the tarot card after the moon. Then comes the star. And the moon is confusion and darkness, and the star comes out as hope and guidance and light, the North Star. But we wish on stars, and with this in reverse, I can see that you are afraid to wish for things because you don't have that faith that you're going to get it, and you feel like you're just only going to feel worse if you wish, if you try. So your message from your source energy is that it is safe to expand. It is safe to wish and make goals. And it is okay to do so. Just checking my messages. He said, wow, and then I think he laughed. I don't know if it was wow what this was happening or wow that I didn't respond, but I've got a few more. Align your life. What is no longer in alignment with who you truly are? So exactly, it's time to look at your old stories that you tell yourself. Okay? A lot of them are not in alignment with who you are. They're old stories. We hold on to stories that we were told in childhood, and believe it or not, we grow and develop beyond childhood. So those stories are old and stale. It's time to just question them. When you get a negative thought about yourself, recognize that it's a negative thought, and by negative I mean it's against yourself. It's it's a judgment or some type of harsh thought that makes you feel worse about yourself. When you get those thoughts, you need to recognize and question them. Perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. Exactly what I was saying as far as when you have these thoughts and they are so overwhelming, put them in perspective. Shrink them down. Tell yourself it is instead of telling yourself what a big deal it is, tell yourself that it's not a big deal. Tell yourself that it's not necessarily true because you thought it. Maybe it's not. How would you feel if it wasn't? Take another perspective and just try to shrink those thoughts down. Then we have the Milky Way perspective. Again, same thing, just confirmation. And the river movement. So this is your card. This movement card is your card that is telling you that you are ready to move away from this negativity. And you are ready to break these soul contracts and old patterns. And you are ready to put things in perspective and move in a positive direction. So even though, there's been all of this sort of heavy, negative sort of like, you've been doing this and you don't want to do that anymore. Once again, don't judge yourself harshly for that either. Just be loose with it, okay? Just accept that you did the thing the best that you could, and you're learning more, and you're doing, learning better, and you're doing better. And be aware that this movement is possible, and it's okay too if it's not a lot of movement, if it's just a little bit of movement, if you just wiggle it like a tooth, just wondering, is that really true? Can be enough movement. And look at that. Time to go. Time to go away from that place of harsh judgment against yourself. Time to go to a better sort of land. So movement. Time to go forward. It's time to go forward. So, okay, that was my first time doing a reading for anyone using that particular spread. And so I hope that those of you who chose pile 1, I hope that resonated with you. I hope that this is, this reading is satisfactory, because it is a little different from anything I've done before. I'm going to look real quick. Okay, so right now it looks like nobody's really hanging out, which is fine. People will watch it in the rewatch. Listen, James, if you're around, or if you come back, I don't know, I don't think he's gonna, but I have no problem doing a reading for James sometime in the future. Just not right now. I'm doing, the pick a card reading, so I am getting tired and I can feel it. For those who chose the Black Stone, pile 2, trust your path. So, as far as connecting with yourself, if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Okay. So, as far as connecting with yourself, trust your path indicates to me that you're on a path now, that you have begun to do this connecting, and that's why why you're here is because you started to do this work and you're heading in the right direction. So just trust that. Trust that and proceed with the idea that you're going to do whatever you would do if you knew you were supported, because you are. Okay? Because you are. Just that right there. Okay. So, current influences that you're unaware of. We have the Father of Swords. So here we have a masculine energy dealing with knowledge, intelligence, and wisdom. How can I improve? Allowing my intuition to guide me. Whew. 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So I feel like for those who pick pile 2, it could be very much that there's a strong... So the Ten of Pentacles can represent family legacies and money, which makes a whole lot of sense, honestly. But I'm also seeing like materialism and a release of materialism. So how can I improve allowing my intuition to guide me? Would be to let go of materialism and let go of the need to... The seeing is believing, and switch your thinking to believing is seeing. Probably need to get a little more just generally in tune. Just a moment. I'm back. In tune with the more spiritual side of yourself instead of the solid material, beyond what you can touch and see and feel, and more your inner feelings. Okay, sorry. Something holding me back from optimal growth. The Daughter of Swords. So I feel like there's a youthful energy, a sort of like maybe a belief that you already know everything and you don't need to be taught. That's kind of holding you back. The next important lesson for you to learn. Four of Wands. So Four of Wands is about stability, and it's really interesting. Four of Wands about stability. Completion, and celebration. Oops, I'm knocking things over left and right around here. The lesson you need to learn is about completion and celebration, about rewarding yourself for a job well done, about finishing what you start, about finishing on the path. I'm getting a feeling like perhaps you've gone down many paths before and turned around and thought it wasn't, the right path, and maybe it wasn't, but this time you need to continue on the path that you're already on, and try to avoid the temptation to turn around and start over again, because this is a journey that you need to complete. And how does this lesson contribute to your life's purpose? Temperance. This is a card of healing and moderation. there's healing to be done on this path. And there are times it may be difficult. And so those are the times that you're going to want to turn around and pick a different path. But this healing is really important. And you really need to stay on the path and just move through it. Your guides and your source energy. Son of Swords. So you have the Father, Daughter, and the Son of Swords. That's a lot of air energy right there. So it's very likely that this is a mental path, or it could be an educational path that you're traveling. It's also possible that money is an issue, and this could be formal schooling. For some of you, this could definitely be some formal schooling, and it also could be in a healthcare field or social work type of, or some type of healing. Could even be massage therapy. I can see that some of you may be stressed about the financial aspect of it, but I do feel like that is going to come through. The Spirit doesn't want you to give up because of that. So now the Knight of Pentacles, Father of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. And again, this is an influence that you're unaware of. So the Knight of Pentacles is very slow moving. He talks about investments. And here we just, so again, there could be this financial obstacle to your education or to your learning path. Again, working on your intuition to guide you. The Hermit. Okay. The Hermit also does talk about letting go of material things and really focusing on the mental and focusing on learning and solitude. So getting alone with yourself and allowing yourself to experience the stillness and the quiet without all of the distractions, and connecting and listening, and even being willing to just be bored, be frustrated, feel whatever's going on without turning to something to distract yourself, without turning to something to entertain yourself. Okay. Something that's holding you back from your optimal growth. The Sun. The Sun and the Daughter of Swords. Okay, so yeah, it's the happy, distracting, fun times are becoming a distraction for you. And they're distracting you from your path. They're making you want to go off of the path and forget about your goal and just do the fun thing and the easy thing and the thing that feels good in the moment. Next important lesson. The Five of Wands in reverse. Wow. So it's interesting because we have the Four of Wands here with completion and celebration. Then we have the Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands talks about, I think it's just wanting to fall. All right. So the Five of Wands really talks about kind of being uncoordinated, being distracted, being like a little bit all over the place. But here we have it in reverse. So one thing I was thinking about as I was doing this, because this is about connecting with yourself. This is an inner reading. So I expected I was going to have a lot of reversals, because there's times where I read reversals as being internal conflicts rather than external. But also that you're going to need to learn the lesson of completion is also the lesson of, not being distracted and of being organized and following a plan, following it through, and kind of taming those little monsters that want you to try something different or give up and start over again. It's really the same thing. It's really the same message as it has been. How does this lesson contribute to my life purpose? We have the Princess of Discs. So this is also the Page of Pentacles. This is the final card in the deck. It's the most solid material, physical thing. So I think that you're really going to get real material gain out of continuing on this path, continuing in the direction that you're going. There is like a financial, material reward to continuing and not allowing yourself to be distracted, turned off path, turned back, or whatever. Although it will help you to connect with yourself, for sure, it's also going to reap rewards that are tangible, possibly financial. Finally, your message from your guides through the Muse of Emotions. Muse of Emotions, which is basically the King of Cups. So to me, that really is telling you to follow your heart, but keep your emotions balanced and in check. Follow your true will and not your whim, okay? Your will and not your whim. I'm also going to go ahead and just look up the Son of Swords in the Wild Unknown book, because see, this is forceful and determined. Yes, your will and not your whim. The Son of Swords is a man of action, not of grace. He pushes forward towards his goal with urgency and determination. Yep, you're going down. Yep. Sticking to your path. Sticking to your goals. Usually he's seeking approval from the patient and just Father of Swords, who casts quite a shadow onto his son. Working with this stimulating and exhausting young man can prove to be a challenge. But your guides want you to move forward. They want you to stick. They want you to identify your true will and not your whim. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to the Pentacle, or the, try to move this along. I know I'm talking very slowly and I'm kind of wandering, but I'm going to go on to the Oracle cards. The Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? You see that? called up to step up and lead from your true will. Balance your emotions and lead from that core of your true will. Earth pulsing. Pulse of the mother. Slow down and spend time in nature. Okay, that makes sense, but there's a lot of pentacles here. Definitely feel that nature connection. What else do we have? These are sticking. Oh, the shaman, ancient healing wisdom. Oh, I knew there was some healing on this path. Very interesting. And the winter solstice reflection. Wow. Yes. Yep. With all these swords, I'm not at all surprised that the reflection card came up in winter. I do associate swords with the north and with winter. Yeah, there's a lot of mental things going on here. There's a lot of learning and healing wisdom and connecting to the earth, for sure. Orphaned. What an interesting card to throw out there at the end of the reading. Orphaned. Kind of feels like that explains a lot of the sense of uncertainty, as if you're really uncertain about your path, and even though you're on the right path, but you feel so uncertain, and you just keep wanting to wander off or head off and start over again. I feel like you just don't have a sense of a parental leader. I am going to go ahead and look that orphan card up. Also, number 5. Card number 5. I think we did have the 5 of Wands. 5 has to do with growth and change, and what's that word I want? Disruption, which makes a lot of sense for orphaned. 5. A sense of loss and identity crisis, recognizing you don't fit in, the need to belong, uncertainty about your place. All this makes a lot of sense because, with this shaman card, shamans are not the normal person in the tribe. They don't fit in. They're very different and, probably have quite a bit of uncertainty at times. We were all meant to have connections with other people within our family, society, and the larger culture. No man is an island, and it's important to recognize that being part of, rather than separate from, is essential to your well-being. This issue at hand is a need to find where you fit. Be true to your core truths and values. Perhaps you no longer identify with a group or community the way you did before and need to find a new situation. You might be feeling a deep sense of loss or confusion. Address the need for belonging and know that you will find your place with others of like mind and spirit. It's okay to let go of pressure to fit in. Not everyone will understand you. It's time to move on. Okay. Ooh, I'm feeling lightheaded too. So that is the message for Path 2. And I hope that you were able to resonate with that. Yeah. I just got really, really hit with lightheadedness and tiredness. Thank you, Pal 2. I do hope that was helpful. I feel like I ended it somewhat abruptly, but I do feel like I said everything that I needed to say, hopefully. I'm just going to move on to Pal 3. Welcome, Pal 3. If you're just joining, or if you're, clicked on, I got to remember to do timestamps on my videos. All right, for those who chose Pal 3, the pink, the rose quartz. I mentioned that all of a sudden started to feel a little woozy, a little lightheaded. So I'm wondering if I should try to recenter for a second. It looks like no one is actively watching right now. So if you're rewatching, you can always skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to just take a moment, sort of center myself a little. Take some breaths. Drink some water. For those who chose Pal 3, welcome. I'm going to try this again. I did get a little woozy, and I'm going to set the timestamp hopefully right here. So I do need... We're reading about opening your connection with self, and we're using a spread. Rather than doing a completely free reading. So get grounded, empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. So for my Pal 3 people, some of you may be empaths. Some of you may be especially connected with nature, be highly sensitive, and this is going to be an important part of connecting with yourself, is understanding your empath abilities and also being able to recharge and reconnect. And as it says, get grounded. So current influences that you are unaware of. We have the Daughter of Pentacles. How can I improve? Allow my intuition to guide me. The Wheel of Fortune. Perfect. And something that's holding me back from optimal growth. We have the Four of Swords. All right. So current influences that you're unaware of. We have the Daughter of Pentacles. In reverse. I see the Daughter as being very... what's the word I want? It's right in my head. I'm very sorry. Very vulnerable, okay? So we're talking about influences that you're unaware of. We have the vulnerable Daughter of Pentacles in reverse. So it's likely that perhaps you have some vulnerabilities that you're unaware of. Some, with being an empath, it's really quite possible that there's some vulnerabilities that you're not yet aware of, that hopefully you'll become aware of and be able to learn to deal with. How can I improve allowing my intuition to guide me? The Wheel of Fortune. So with the Wheel of Fortune, you can allow your intuition to guide you by accepting the cycles accepting that not everything can be controlled, not everything is always cause and effect, and some things happen because that's how they happen. You can call it fate. Some people don't believe in that, or you can call it chance. But the wheel turns. The wheel turns, and in order to allow your intuition to guide you, you kind of have to ride that wheel. You kind of have to let go of trying to make something happen and just receive and perceive. Something that's holding you back. We have the Four of Swords. Which is a card of rest and recovery. Holding you back from optimal growth, I would say, is probably a certain level of maybe sort of non-commitment, not wanting to do the work, wanting to rest or take the easy way. There are times where rest is important, but there are also times where it's not the right option. And it can be a little bit of an excuse or spiritual bypassing, possibly. The next important lesson to learn, Seven of Pentacles. That one's such an interesting card. How does this lesson contribute to my life purpose? Daughter of Cups. Two daughters. And the message from my guides. Three of Pentacles in reverse. Three of Pentacles involves teamwork and building upon what came before. With this in reverse, I would say that it's likely that teamwork, working with others, could be an issue for you, or could be a stumbling block, or it could be something that you try to avoid, or that you need to work on your ability to do. Next important lesson, Seven of Pentacles. Period of contemplation. This one always throws me off because it's so pippish. So the Seven of Pentacles is all about a period of contemplation and uncertainty. You're looking back on your hard work and you're wondering if it's been a failure or a success. And this really connects to me with the Get Grounded card. It really connects me with the concerns about vulnerabilities. It concerns me with the wild card of fate or of chance or, of luck or whatever, where you've worked hard or you haven't worked hard, and somehow the wheel turns and just throws something at you that just doesn't match that your effort, where you're either rewarded despite having done nothing, or you feel like you're being punished even though you've done everything. And, wanting to sort of give up or retreat. So it's important to realize that this Seven of Pentacles is not about retreating. Contemplation is not about retreating. Even though this is sometimes does represent meditation and so forth, contemplation does not equal doing nothing or merely licking your wounds. But this is really about sort of a little bit of a feeling of what's the word I want? A feeling of disappointment, feeling of setback, of whether or not your efforts are paying off, that uncertainty. Especially if you feel like you haven't been financially rewarded. A lot of times it's not financial. And that could be the lesson. The lesson could be that your reward won't come in the form that you expect. And how this lesson contributes to your life purpose here with the Daughter of Cups. I see her as being about reflection, about being about looking inward, looking backwards, looking forward, looking in all directions, reflecting. And so you've got contemplation and reflection, and then you've got this struggle here with teamwork. Getting tired, I'm sorry. Ace of Swords, Daughter of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. Again, something that you're unaware of. Some knowledge and information that you're not aware of that could be vital to you. And it could be painful. Sometimes swords are painful. Or it could be helpful. And it's possible, of course, that could be used either way. Page of Wands. So when it comes to your intuition, Page of Wands really represents a sense of impulsivity. I think that your intuition can be served by listening to that first impulse, that first spark, not necessarily acting on it, but listening to it. The Seven of Wands in reverse. Something that's holding you back, yeah. It's definitely something that's it's internal. It's not external at all. It's It's a search for clarity. It's a feeling of being lost. It's possibly a spaciness, a need to get grounded, especially with the swords, the air. See how the swords are in this position, and in the position of your lesson, we have Pentacles. So we have Earth. So the air and the Earth. The air is confusion. The air is fog, confusion. Two of discs. So again, your lesson has to do with being grounded and being balanced. And how it contributes to your life purpose. So we have the Daughter of Cups. We have this, again, emotional and vulnerable and reflective card. And then we have the Three of Swords. So again, we have this airy card. We have this painful, airy card. Lessons that are painful. Knowledge that is painful. Knowing things. Learning, finding out things that hurt. That that make you feel again discouraged by life. So this contributes to your life purpose because your life, I'm sorry, I'm tired. I know I'm talking slow. Life lessons, while painful, important for you to reflect on. And it's also important for you to maintain some of your innocence and original vulnerability despite the hurts. Here we have the Ace of Materials, or the Ace of Pentacles, in reverse, and the Three of Pentacles. This is your message from your guides. Really, they just want you to get grounded. I mean, these are both telling me that. With the Three in reverse and the Ace in reverse, you need to go physically outside, take off your shoes, and connect with the earth. It's just kind of no question. So the Oracle, see what the Oracles have to say for you. The Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. I can believe that. And with this having to do with empaths, this really makes sense too, because you're going to channel a lot of pain from other people as an empath. And you're going to have to learn how to separate what's yours from what's not yours. And you'll learn that emotional boundaries are going to be very, very important. But this is something you've been training for lifetimes. This is something that you deep down know how to do because you're meant to do it. You've got the love, Hadrian energy, codependency, and boundaries. Yes. You have the love. I mean, this is You have the love, but you do need to work on the boundaries. You can even see this in some ways as a boundary line. Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. Didn't I mention those things? It's a hard line to walk because you have to keep yourself vulnerable and you have to keep yourself open, but you can't be so vulnerable that you have to just be willing to absorb a lot and hopefully learn to transmute it, and but also to recognize that it doesn't belong to you. What's really super important with the boundaries is, I used to never get headaches, and I really don't very often get them. But when I do get them, I question if they're mine, because headaches are a thing that I've been able to pick up on from other people. So when I get a headache, I will ask myself out loud, is this mine? And sometimes I'm not sure, and sometimes I will just go on the assumption that it's not, and send it away and just reject it. I reject this headache. It's not mine. And you can do that with a lot of things, I believe. You can just reject the energy, set up a boundary, and say, look, if this isn't mine, then I am not going to carry it. And that's all there is to it. Dreamtime creation and rain purification. Beautiful. Creation and purification. Purification is especially relevant here as we're talking about taking this energy and transmuting it, purifying it, cleansing it, and using it to create something new. By the book. Going by the book. But, this really made me feel like buy the book, B-U-Y, buy the book. If you're an empath and you're having a really hard time dealing with it, understanding it, there are some really good videos on YouTube. There are some really horrible, confused, messed up videos. There's a couple. What is her name? She calls herself the Heart Alchemist, so you could search that. She's one of my favorite people that talks about empaths. But consider buying a good book about empaths. Now, I got a book, and I didn't feel like it was a very good one, so be sure to read reviews and, think about what you're looking for. But I think an actual book really where you can spend some quiet time just reading it rather than listening and having to accept all this energy coming at you, with watching a video or listening to something with, it's just, I feel like for your energy, the quietness of just getting a book and reading it and connecting with yourself is a really good way to make that connection and to learn, what you need to learn about being an empath and about setting those boundaries and getting grounded and keeping from getting yourself overwhelmed. So that is the reading for pile number 3. And I hope that everyone has enjoyed their reading and I was going to say lesson, and resonated, enjoyed and or resonated. I'm really sorry. I am tired and groggy. So that is it. That is the final pile. So, no. If you like tarot videos, pick card readings, and other tarot content, flip throughs, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell, and let me know what you thought. And again, 100 times, apologies for being so tired and groggy right now. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, until next time, be well.